Let me address recent unfounded attacks on the professionalism of the FBI and Justice Department agents and prosecutors. I will not stand by silently when their integrity is unfairly attacked. The men and women of the FBI and the Justice Department are dedicated, patriotic public servants.
Attorney General Garland today talking about the search warrant on Donald Trump's home, and just hours after we saw an armed suspect attempt to breach an FBI office in Cincinnati. That suspect died after a standoff with law enforcement. This is the most violent of the threats towards the Bureau following the search at Mar-a-Lago. And despite this, we continue to see some in the media try to enrage people with fact-free diatribes, and also just pure partisanship as opposed to analysis. For example, here is Fox host Jeanine Pirro criticizing Attorney General Garland for saying that they can't discuss an ongoing investigation.
The idea that, we don't talk when there's an investigation, what are you talking about? The FBI is known for leaking and leaking and leaking. It's what they do. It's how they get their word out so that juries are tainted, that kind of thing. I mean, I've seen it for 35 years.
But juries are tainted. That's a criminal defense lawyer argument. I love it when the Fox hosts suddenly start talking like criminal defense lawyers. Let's talk again with two former prosecutors, Michael J. Moore, former U.S. Attorney for the Middle District of Georgia, and appointee of President Obama, and Jay Town, former U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama, appointed by former President Trump. Michael, when people talk about this stuff, about why Merrick Garland can or can't speak, I mean, this isn't even controversial. I mean, the FBI, the Department of Justice, simply does not speak about ongoing investigations. I would assume that was your rule when you were the U.S. Attorney. I'm sure it was Jay's rule. And there are a lot of people out there who are sort of acting as if this is sort of confusing and they don't understand it and it doesn't make sense. But it's not even controversial.
No, it really isn't. And it's pretty ignorant on the part of these hosts who are commenting on it, like we heard. Again, if you just take it sort of from the layman's perspective, we've all heard judges tell jurors, don't go home and research this, don't read anything about it in the newspaper and this type of thing. You've seen this on every TV show. And the reason is because you don't want to have a jury tainted. You want them to follow the evidence and to be making their decision about what's presented to them. That's one reason prosecutors do not speak about their cases and their investigations publicly. That is, you don't want to taint the jury pool. At the same time, nor do you want to, again, put dirt on somebody who may not deserve it at the end of the day as the investigation goes forward. So there's nothing novel here. This is a normal process. The
people who do talk about ongoing investigations, people like myself and people who are hosts on other networks, sometimes it's just too good. So now there's a report from the Washington Post that the information was related to nuclear weapons. We don't know exactly what. This was Jesse Waters talking about what they might find on Fox and what significance it would have.
They better have had more than cocktail napkins and dinner menus and love letters from Little Rocket Man. I don't want to hear they found some small ball piece of paper like a memo about Madagascar. The Attorney General has to use discretion, right? When you come at the king, you best not miss. He didn't have to do this. Garland better find the nuclear football in there, or this thing is a major scandal.
I mean, again, we don't know exactly what they found or didn't find, but this is the problem with speculation, right? And this is why we try to be very careful here about what we know and we don't know. But I do think that some of the fury that has been ginned up against the FBI and others is really dangerous stuff. And Jay, you said before you wanted to talk about this in the wake of learning that this guy who tried to attack the FBI went on social media and was talking about attacking the FBI and was apparently part of January 6th. This is not surprising considering the level which this is being taken to, the anger, the outrage that's being ginned up on this.
Yeah, the vitriol that is being consumed by your average consumer of news on both sides, frankly, it is appalling. And that's why when I hear about these recent reports just in the hour or so leading up to the show, I sort of discount it a little bit because I just don't know that I believe it. But what I do believe is that the vitriol that is being ginned up against the FBI because of this search, we don't even know what they were looking for or what they found. And yet you have hosts coming on TV or pundits on both sides. They're either aggravated at the FBI or they're praising them. And what I can tell you, you had a member of Congress call for the defunding of FBI. That is chapter 1 in the book of bad ideas. And so the FBI is making us safer tonight, right now. And I've seen it personally. I know Michael has too. Dan, everybody knows how you feel about members of law enforcement. And so it really is important we temper our responses with facts. But, consumers of news need to search for facts.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.